Guten Tag and willkommen. It is PopCulture Reacts as we are working our way through Rammstein, self-titled, or untitled, depending on
Yes,
which side of the fence you fall on.
both
Um,
sides.
we are
I'm like
on.
a foot in each camp, Chris.
You are the ultimate on the fence, aren't you?
When it's less on the fence, when they say the grass is green on the other side, if you're in both fields, you get all the best grass.
So yes, we are at track 6, Puppe or Doll. Um, this is one that I will say right now that once we've done the whole album, we are doing the live of this
Okay, okay.
because
Well, we
I
tend to, don't we, for celebratory things? Although I think like now potentially because we changed our celebratory schedule, I think we might revisit a few lives closer to the time that we do the album. So yeah, I'm always kind of I say I'm happy. I haven't heard the song yet. I might hate it, and then I might go, "Why are you making me listen to this?" Although it seems unlikely with Rammstein's track record with me and this album's track record with me. Now,
just the
so
stage show for this is amazing.
so I'm guessing because it's doll. I'm guessing the stage show might have a big doll.
I
Or
won't
people are
tell
like, oh, I
you.
don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Sorry, I should. I'm like that kid who's like, can I just touch that present under the tree? Oh, I know what it is
Can,
now.
can
We're in
can I just have
Christmas.
can I just have a poke? Can I
Yeah,
just tear the
yeah.
paper open a bit? Yeah,
It's
I can imagine you.
Oh, the thing is, you say that when I was a young'un, when I was really young, yes, I did. There's also a year where me and my brother found where our Christmas presents were hidden pre-wrapped and spent many a hour playing with them pre-Christmas before we got caught. Used awful excuses, but we were idiot children. But now, no, I won't. I won't touch a present now because, to be honest, presents get really, really easy to guess. Now, let's say it's an album, like a vinyl. Yeah, okay. Knowing it's a vinyl doesn't necessarily give away what it is, but even that, I don't know. As soon as you know what it is, your brain can start making educated guesses on what people might have bought you. So yeah, no touching the presents. Anyway, why are we talking about Christmas presents? We're nowhere near Christmas.
Because you brought it up.
I did bring it up.
It's how we
Oh,
always go
shut
on
up.
tangents. It's always you.
I do like a wee tangent. It's been mentioned a few times in the comments about how can someone say so much about so little. But welcome to the world of not only Lacey but all those other people in my life who have to put up with these random tangents. Right. I said at the end of the last episode, Puppa, if that is how it's pronounced, means something different in my house. Um, I won't go into what it is, but rather than let's do this, I'll go with Up the Puppa.
Wenn Schwesterlein zur Arbeit muss, schließt mich im Zimmer ein, hat eine Puppe mir geschenkt, dann bin ich nicht allein. Wenn Schwesterlein zur Arbeit muss, fährt sie nicht mit der Bahn. Ihr Schaffensplatz ist gar nicht weit, ist gleich im Zimmer nebenan. Am Himmel dunkle Wolken ziehen, ich nehme artig meine Medizin und warte hier im Daunenbeet, bis die Sonne untergeht. Sie kommen und sie gehen und manchmal auch zu zweit. Die späten Vögel singen und die Schwester schreit. Am Himmel dunkle Wolken ziehen Ich nehme artig meine Medizin und warte hier im Daunenbeet, bis die Sonne untergeht. Und dann reiß ich der Puppe den Kopf ab, dann reiß ich der Puppe den Kopf ab, ja, ich beiß der Puppe den Hals ab. Es geht mir nicht gut, ich reiß der Puppe den Kopf ab, ja, ich reiß der Puppe den Kopf ab und dann beiß ich der Puppe den Hals ab. Es geht mir nicht gut, nein. Wenn Schwesterlein der Arbeit frönt, das Licht im Fenster rot, ich sehe zu durch Schlüsselloch und einer schlug sie tot. Und jetzt reiß ich der Puppe den Kopf ab, ja, ich reiß der Puppe den Kopf ab und dann beiß ich der Puppe den Hals ab. Jetzt geht es mir gut, ja, ich reiß der Puppe den Kopf ab, ja, ich reiß der Puppe den Kopf ab und jetzt beiß ich der Puppe den Hals ab. Es geht mir sehr gut, ja.
I think I've got a contender for my favourite song of the album there. I really, really like that. I don't know whether it's kind of jumped into that top end bracket, and it said like love everything we've had so far. I don't know whether it's maybe jumped into that top end because it speaks to music that I like generally, that kind of darker tonality to it, and certainly in the Rammstein stuff, not quite the fairy tale darkness that we've had in certain other tracks, but a lean tonally, musically, and when we get to the heavy bit, the tearing off the doll's head bit, like I'd assumed we were getting something like that. I was loving what I was getting up to that point, but my God, I was ready for that when that hit, and I just think it went perfectly with the build that got us there. But yeah, a lot of kind of musically, kind of a lot of feelings of, I don't know, Dark City as a movie, The Crow, things like that. Those kind of that being in the background, whilst in, like, for me, a dilapidated kind of building, you've got the story that they're telling going on, like it's in the same world as, like, well, I guess the shitty side of the world that we kind of actually do live in, but really invoke those sort of kind of dark feelings and the darkness that the world can bring with it.
Yeah, on this album, when I first listened to it the very first time, I got to this, and instead of going into the next song, I put this one back on straight away.
Yeah,
because I was just like, what the fuck have I just listened to? Because this is, as you said, obviously we've had it a few times with Rammstein doing like the dark fairy tale style, story style song, and they
Yeah.
just put a level of nastiness and grimness to it, but there's also a light and a delicacy and a whimsicalness to it as well that just sort of brings you in. And then, as you say, when that build comes and you get the, I bite the head off, I rip the head off the doll, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that
it
kind of
fits
frustration that you expect.
perfectly into what they're doing and what they're saying and what the story of the song is.
So I have some questions for possibly you, but for people in the comments, maybe more people who are actually German speaking, because I'm looking at this from a translation, and as I'm kind of following through it, I take it well, in my head, what I envisage is the sibling here is a younger sibling, um, but there's just a couple of bits that when it translates out, the term when my kid sister has to go to work, and I don't know if that's just a rough translation, or I don't know. Am I misaging
I, I,
them? I don't
I
know.
don't think it is done as small children, kids. I
Yeah,
think it's still like they're not old. They're like 16, 17, 18 ish.
I always
But it,
I took it that the non prostitute sibling is the younger one though. But when I
yeah,
hear the term kid sister, I don't necessarily think, oh, it's a 5-year-old. But I think of someone using the term kid sister as signifying that they're younger. But again, I could easily see that. So even if you're looking at that kind of age range of going, let's say it's a 16, 17-year-old boy and a 15, 16-year-old girl, and she's having to earn the money, but still I can see like the frustration that would come from that. Like the locked in the room seems a little bit more spurious there, but how angry that maybe someone in that age bracket would be that they're,
mm,
I don't know, allowing's maybe the wrong term, but like living in a world where she has to do that to, I don't know, sustain them. But certainly for the most part, when I was going through it, I was like, yeah, the sister is the older of the two, hence the ability to lock them away with a kind of in a room with a doll and stuff like that. But yeah, I just for anyone who is German speaking, if you could kind of clarify probably where that translation's at and whether that translation's a bit wonky, and if it is, like, does that really kind of deviate the story? I don't know, but yeah, it just stood out as a teensy bit odd for me in how I was experiencing the story.
mm. But then obviously, what I do love is in obviously the translation of it that we've had and stuff, that there is that end bit is can be taken two ways. Is he in his room still ripping off the doll, or has he lost his shit and gone and killed the guy that's killed the sister
So like
and
I
ripping off their head and biting their neck?
Well, funny enough, because again, translation, like it seems to be almost very sort of definitive in that it's and someone clubbed her to death. But I don't know why. When I was going through it, I didn't feel like she'd been clubbed to death. I felt like that was when watching through the keyhole, like probably a violent act being perceived as clubbed to death. But I'm not saying she doesn't die. But yeah, I took it more as a like if you're seeing the some of the more brutal nature that can come with, I guess, prostitution. Like everything from kind of roughing up right the way to something that might lead to death. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it just didn't resonate with me. She actually died. Like in my mind, that cycle continues the next night or a few nights later when she's back up on her feet again and again gets more clients and one of them may well yeah, I don't know, be a bit rough, but yeah, that's just kind of my interpretation of it, because it does clearly say club to death, but it just didn't
Six.
feel like
So,
she died to me.
so this is where our translations are different because the translation I have for this is one of them beat her to death. Doesn't
Oh
use the
yeah,
word
so
club.
Yeah, so
So,
I watched for the keyhole and someone clubbed her to death. But
so yeah,
and I know that's still quite literal, but when they do, and again, you're putting your own kind of perspective on it, but when they do their tales, their things that lean towards like a lot of similes. I think I just feel like the whole song dripped with a lot of perception of something rather than the reality of it, and I think that's just how it stuck with me of going. Rather than maybe her being clubbed to death, this is possibly, him seeing a limited view of, I don't know, someone just knocking her around quite brutally, and for him, it's like I've just seen my sister clubbed to death. But yeah, not definitive. It's just how the story went for me.
yeah,
Maybe I like the story better that way because she doesn't die, and like the way the kind of story goes, it's a realistic story for so many people. We talk about oldest profession, but also beyond oldest profession. I think a profession that's probably in some degree of a renaissance because times are very, 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 very hard for so many people, and I think unfortunately it leads to I don't know, people selling something that ideally they wouldn't want to sell, i.e. themselves, and a very sad tale. And eternally you do you. If you want to be, if you want to do it, and it's your sort of thing. But I think, this story kind of leans to me of it being very, very tragic. This isn't a choice. This is the only
necessity.
option we have. Yeah. I mean, the
Um,
fact that they're having to do it with sibling in next room locked away suggests that this isn't anything beyond like absolute necessity for this to be happening.
yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you have enjoyed this because as I said, we will be doing it live. So yeah, so
Quite intrigued to see how the live goes now because I guess when we come in and like you said about Dole, I was just like, oh, it'll be a massive Dole, but and I'm not saying that there won't be, but because of the nature of the song, I almost don't want there to be a large Dole now because that would feel a bit weird. But
so as always, down there, let us know what you thought. Obviously,
yeah,
translations and because I said between just the two of us and
yeah,
our
yeah.
the translations that we're using, mine is different to what you've had. So
Well, and we've talked about like his poetic influences, and obviously the fact that he writes poetry, and I think um, translating any language out to any other language comes with its intricacies of local speak and how words are used. But I certainly think when you're doing it in a very poetic stance, I think sometimes those translations can be either really literal or miss the mark because they've missed the intent. So
yeah.
German speakers, we need you.
As always, YouTube things like, subscribe, ring of bells, and until next time, and we are back with Was ist Liebe. Auf Wiedersehen.